Hi, Gemini. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for November 2019. This month is going to have some significant activity for you specifically, Gemini, because Mercury is retrograde. And when that happens, it really affects the Mercury people of the world, Geminis and Virgos. So this month's Mercury retrograde in Scorpio in your sixth house should be quite a thing to think about. But before I get there, Julia has some news for you about love and action, Venus and Mars. Julia, what are your thoughts?
Thanks, Jamie. Well, Gemini, this month is really going to put a spotlight on your relationships and dating. Venus, the very first day of November, enters Sag, which is actually your seventh house. And the seventh house represents partnership of all kinds, but especially romantic partners. So if you already have a boyfriend or girlfriend, this is going to be a really wonderful month for just enjoying a lot of special, just warm, fuzzy, Venusy times with them. And then Mars is going to be moving into Libra right where it actually starts in Libra when the month begins, which is in your natal fifth house, which is also a very romantic house because it has to deal with dating. It has to deal with kind of going out, games, activities of all kinds. And Mars is where we like to sort of put our drive and our energy, wherever house it is in whichever month we are experiencing. So being in the fifth house, which is also the house of kind of games, if you're involved in any trivia nights, if you play any types of sports, you might be a little extra competitive too. Jamie, what's going on with the rest of the planets this month?
That's such a fun thought. I
I know
love that.
trivia nights might get a little extra,
I
or
think so.
am I right?
I think so. Hey, what do you think about Mars moving into the sixth house in Scorpio, which happens around the 18th, 19th? Do you have thoughts about that?
Oh yeah. So when Mars goes into your sixth house of Scorpio, the sixth house is a house of health. It's a house of work. So that means that your energy and your attention is going to be turned from sort of fun games and dating to just kind of focusing more on being productive, getting through your task list. And since it is also a bit of a health house as well, and Mars can sometimes bring up, it can kind of it can irritate health conditions as well, especially if you're dealing with inflammation or any type of blood things like anemia. So, stuff to watch out for, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. And it's kind of cool that you ended with Mars in Scorpio there because that sixth house has a very big Mercury activity this month. And Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio this month, all month. And Scorpio, your sixth house, that house of health, work, and service, this is going to bring those Mercury retrograde themes, which we know so very well. You know, machinery breaking down at the office, miscommunications, letters lost in the mail, and that old friend or boyfriend that you haven't talked to in a really long time calling you up out of the blue to have some kind of conversation that maybe you'd rather not have. And really, because a lot of this activity is going on in the house of work, it does suggest that there could be a lot of grumbling and even like sort of what is it, bitterness that's been held on to for a long time. And you might find that at work there's a kind of a black cloud over people, a poisonous atmosphere. And this is really your chance to shine, Gemini, because you are the great communicator. And if you can get people to talk it out, if you can get people to feel heard and express their voice and get what they need during this time, you could be responsible for some really great things happening in your workplace. And that could make you pretty shiny. It seems like an opportunity, especially in the middle of the month when we have Epiphany Day, and that is on the 11th. And if you want to know more about Epiphany Day, what that is, what I mean when I say that, then you probably would want to go to our November news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, where you can find the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio video. which talks all about, what is this Epiphany Day thing? Why is it a day of such insight? Why does clarity tend to come? It really has to do with that Mercury is in a conjunction with the sun on that day. The sun is moving forward, Mercury is moving backward. They meet on one day in a burst of insight. Clarity comes, and it helps us get through the rest of Mercury retrograde. So that could be a day when you really shine. That could be pretty nice. As Mercury continues retrograde towards the end of the month, around the 20th, here it is, it goes direct, and that's going to be a relief, but we're not out of the woods yet until about another week has gone by, and then Mercury has speeded up and is moving fast enough to where we start to feel like things go back to normal. I want to tell you also about some lunations happening. There is a full moon in Taurus on the 12th. The 12th. Right there next to that Epiphany Day, that Mercury Epiphany Day, then we have this full moon in Taurus and Scorpio. So the sun in Scorpio with Mercury has got all of that energy of communication and unearthing deep truths, hidden things, mysterious things. There's very much the detective feel about that. And that moon in Taurus in your 12th house is saying, just take a load off, get away from work, go find a little oasis of nature and take a break and find your solidity again. Maybe get in touch with, your body and find a cute cuddly animal and snuggle it. That would be a great thing to do during the full moon this month. And because it's on the 12th, you'll probably be feeling it from the 11th to the 13th. The new moon in Sagittarius comes later on in the month, and that's on the 26th. And this new moon, I've been calling it, the party moon before winter, because this moon is so filled with joy and lightness and fun, and really, I think, a feeling of tolerance and interest in things that are different, in the exotic. And I've been saying that this is a great moon, and you can find out more about these moons also in that November news playlist. But this moon in particular is a great time to get people together under the umbrella of a shared idea where they can explore their differences and still get along and find a common meeting ground. So that can be a really nice way to spend this new moon, which will probably span the 25th to the 27th. So, if you had been thinking about getting an astrology reading from a real professional and it's been cooking in your mind and you're about ready to decide, and you're wondering what would be good right now, I have to say that this month the love themes are really strong, like Julia said, and the career themes are really strong. With that Mercury in the sixth house. So it's kind of a toss up. And, you do have a tendency to have a duality about you, Gemini. So I would say probably a natal and transit reading where you can explore both of those themes deeply would be the way to go. So that's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel on Pandora Astrology. Watch the news videos and also find the horoscopes, which you can find there in YouTube in their own playlist. And also on our website, pandoraastrology.com/horoscope. And we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.